channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about a service dog update and a baby update and about some traveling that I've got going on. So happy July 4 weekend. I hope everybody is having a blast this weekend. Wow, what a day. I need to go through and just make sure that this got posted in our Facebook group because I had all kinds of problems. This is my tech problem. Okay. I was having all kinds of problems getting things posted to Instagram. Then YouTube came in. Then I found out it was a problem with my phone that had to be rebooted. So, yeah, y'all know how this goes. And if there's going to be a tech problem, it's going to happen to me, right? So I hope it's going well. And let me see. Okay. I've got the Gayle Vlogs page, but where's our group? Oh, and if you're not in our group, go ahead and join. It's facebook.com/groups/Gayle Vlogs, VLOGS, and Gayle is spelled Gayle. So, okay. And it's posted, and Lori clicked that she'll be here, and I think I saw her pop up just a second ago. So, hello, and hello. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero, is in. So good to see you. I hope that your tests and everything came out okay and that you got the results. Type that in. Okay, it's not highlighting, so I wonder if he's been in and stepped out. Women's Station channel is here, so hi, Women's Station. And Joe Marco, hi, and welcome to the live stream. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly, but it's good to see you, so welcome. And let's see. So, yeah, there we go. I've got a new ring light. Let me know if it's going to drive you all crazy. I'm trying not to get too much of the light caught in my glasses, but yeah. So, okay, everybody has been asking me. Yep, thank you for being here. Everybody's been asking me, how is the new service dog working out? And we're going to talk about that. And the other thing people want to know is how are things with the grandbaby? And I'm going to give you an update on our little preemie. And we're going to talk about some summer plans. Now, we're going to talk about summer plans because that can impact the channel. So we definitely want to talk about that. First things first, service dog, Pipsy is doing really well. We've had just a couple of little bumps in the road, and that's expected that we're going to have something pop up. And that's because of two things. Pipsy is a little younger than most service dogs. He is 13 months old, and most of the service dogs are between 18 months to 2 years. So he's really young for a service dog, and he's in a brand new environment with brand new people, and so we've got to learn how to adjust and work with each other. That being said, he's doing great on lots of different levels. One of the best things so far, I don't know why that's alarming, but one of the best things about the service dog so far is that he has been alerting to blood sugar, which came out of the blue. I never expected that. He's not specifically trained to be a diabetic alert dog, but if you saw my last video, hi Stellar Piper and welcome. But if you saw my last video, then you saw him alert and go through his behaviors. So the first thing he did was start pawing my leg, and that didn't work to get my attention. So he jumped up on me and he starts licking my hands and he starts licking my face, and I was like, oh, okay, this is alert behavior. And my husband's like, well, maybe it's your blood sugar, and went and checked, and sure enough. So I haven't had problems with blood sugar too much, but the thing is, the long COVID has like screwed up my whole body. And so everything is out of whack. So I go to see the endocrinologist this coming week. I'm actually going to wait to go on some of my travel just a little bit because of seeing the endocrinologist. And I've got an MRI and some other stuff scheduled. So I'm going to go see him and see what he thinks we need to do. I don't want to go back on meds, but if I have to, I do. But anyway, regardless, the nicest thing is that he's alerting, which is very helpful. And he's still doing all of his regular stuff. You know, when I drop the leash, he'll hand me the leash. If I drop a pill bottle, he'll scurry over and he'll pick that up for me. And so things like that, bracing, you know, just general things. And sometimes he gets himself into just a little bit of trouble. Okay, Pipsy is a Labrador Retriever. Let me see if I can get the link for you. And as the Labrador Retrievers will do, I think Pipsy really likes playing in water. So I caught him the other day playing in his water dish. And he had water everywhere. So I took him in the bathroom, dried him off with a hair dryer, and he stood there just like, you know, a service dog would do, what you would hope. He would just stood there perfectly, and I dried him off with the hair dryer, and the first thing he did after I dried him off was go back to his water bowl. So, but this time it was empty, but he just looked at me like, where'd the water go? I want my water. So I put that little video up on his Instagram page. So if you have time and you want to go see him, yeah, go check that out. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So it's just, you know, we have some just funny moments like that. And he does some things that are really cool. One of the things that he's trained to do is go find. So my husband has been hiding in his church, and we've gone in. It's like, okay, go find Dad. And he'll sniff around for a minute, and then he'll go find Dad. The really important thing about having a service dog trained to go find is if you are in a store, for example, and you fall and you have problems and you need help, and your husband, your significant other, is shopping a couple of aisles away, then the service dog can go find your husband. So that's the really important thing about the go find. And to continue his skills on that, I guess one of the best things is to keep him trained on that. It's playing fetch with a ball, and you throw it as hard and far as you can. And if you have bushes or can get it underneath your vehicle, someplace where he can't get to it super easy, tell him to go find the ball, and that keeps up his skills. So he goes and, you know, finds it and brings it back to you, and it's all happy time, and then you throw it again. So that helps reinforce the service dog's skills on go find, which is, you know, you think, oh, you know, you're just playing fetch or you're just telling him to go get the ball, but it's got this very important real life need to, you know, then translate that to go find Dad or go find somebody that you're with that he knows. So like if I'm shopping with the girlfriends, I can say, go find my girlfriends and round them up. He'll go find one of them. So let's see. Sparkle by Monica is in. Hey. And she says, hi there. Was fixing to head off to edit, but saw you were live. Glad you have your new friend now. Me too. It has been, Sparkle by Monica has helped Stellar Piper has helped. I've had so many people who have helped, and Sparkle's been amazing. But yeah, this has been a long haul, and just to kind of not document, but just kind of share the process for a couple of people who have asked, you know, how did you get a service dog and how long did it take and so forth. So I'm going to do a video on that at some point, but you know, all my best buds, you know, Sparkle, Stellar Piper, Tanya, Nancy, you know, Candy, the wee service dog, everybody's just dived in and supported me and walked through this process with me, because I was accepted in September of 2019, and I just got in June of 2022. So the application was actually sent in late July, early August of 2019. So, you know, almost 2 years, which is not as unreasonable as you think, because they gotta breed the dog, train the dog, and let the dog grow up. So that's part of what you're working on. So anyhow, yeah, if you guys have any other questions about the service dog, just put them in the chat or PM me on Facebook if you're in the Facebook group, or drop an email. So do that. But he's working out great and super, super stoked. But one thing I did notice, and I will go ahead and mention this, if you are out and you see a service dog, of course, don't talk to the service dog and don't pet the service dog, but it is okay to say something to the handler. So the other day, I decided I would kind of cheat a little bit, and instead of putting Pipsy in his big, heavy mobility harness, I was like, okay, I've just got to run to the store for a couple of things. All I'm going to do real quick is throw Tomlin's former service dog vest on him, and we're just going to go to the store, because it takes like 2 seconds to put the vest on, and it takes a couple of minutes to put on the mobility harness. So all this time I've been doing the mobility harness, because that's really more of what I need. But this time I was in a hurry. I knew I wasn't going to walk on unstable ground. I knew I could just park up in front of the grocery store, right up by the building, dash in, get 2 things that I needed, and get back out. I've been in this grocery store a few times with the dog in the mobility harness, and like nobody said a word. There was, you know, some things about the kids always wanting to pet the dog, and the parents saying, you know, that's a working dog. So those are the kind of comments that I've gotten up to that point. But when I put him in the service dog vest, it seemed to be a little different in how people perceived me. And like I said, I've been in this store already before, but there were more looks, there were more comments, and they weren't, oh, that's a working dog comment. They were more like, oh, it's a service dog. You know, kind of a negative kind of vibe from some people, which I thought was really interesting. So one point I do want to make is service dogs come in all shapes and sizes, and they may have a vest, they may have a mobility harness, but if it says service dog on the side of it, please think about giving them a little bit of grace and just going ahead and assuming that that really is a service dog. I know there's a few fakers, but the few fakers are nothing compared to those of us who really have service dogs. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Just kind of wanted to toss that out there. Okay. Now let me go back and look in the chat here. See if I can catch up with comments and so forth. Okay. We got the comments. And Money Fluffy Bunny is here. Hey. Oh, Money Fluffy, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. If you need to to talk, my inbox is open, and you've got my Twitter, so don't hesitate to use that, okay? And let's see, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero, is in. I tried to message you earlier, but your name wouldn't highlight, so okay. Okay, I'm glad you're keeping your head held high. That's the biggest thing you can do, you know, no matter what life is throwing at you. Keep it held high. Try to keep your confidence, try to keep your positive outlook, and things will go better even at the really terrible times. So, let's see. Going back in here. Oh, Sparkle by Monica says, well, if I saw someone in the grocery store with their emotional support snake, I might be guilty of giving a side eye. Thank you. Yes. You know, yeah, I won't start on emotional supports. But anyway, yeah. Thank you for being willing to give the side eye for those weird things, those weird critters being used, and, you know, go from there. Let's see. And we've got Women's Station is saying hello. And Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man the Hero, says, I'm having a CT scan done for cancer. Peter, I really hope it's negative. I'm so sorry. When are you having that done? Is that coming up this week or sometime soon? Sore in my back and knees are still sore. Okay. Is that from the other testing that they've done? Because I had a couple of crazy tests, but I don't think you're going to have to go through some of the girls' types of tests. Women's Station Channel says, Peter, praying for you, and I will echo that on Tuesday the 6th. Okay. Wait. Is Tuesday the 6th or is Wednesday the 6th? Because I've got 3 appointments on the 6th, and I was thinking that the 6th was Wednesday. Let's see. Let me pull that up just to make sure I have my appointments on the right day of the week. Yes. Okay, Wednesday is the 6th. Oh, and Money Fluffy Bunny backs it up. Okay. All right. So Wednesday it is. Oh, and Money Fluffy Bunny says, luckily I've seen more service dogs at work. Okay. And I think that as the public sees more service dogs, hopefully that will help. And that was just something that, you know, like I said, I just noticed that at the grocery store. And it really kind of surprised me because I didn't realize it so much with Tomlin. But of course, you know, Tomlin passed away in 2020, so we are 2 years further down the road. But I didn't get the strange looks in the comments that much. You know, once in a great while you will, but that's not the same as having it happen like 4 times in the grocery store plus unknown looks. So really, it's interesting that it makes the difference there. But something was up, something was different. And I'm going to blame it on going from the harness to the vest. So, all right, let's see. Fluffy Bunny, look at Seymour. Oh, and I've got a sticky note over here to please like the live stream because that helps me out. So give me a like on it if you don't mind. There we go. Oh, Peter says, sorry, phone messed up. Gotcha. I hate it when that happens. You know, you'll go and punch something and it's like everything was going wrong with me earlier with the phone, so I get that. My dog is on me and licking me. She thinks my blood sugar is high. Yeah, we just had that happen with Pipsy there. Hopefully, you can get that turned around. And let's see. Somebody else just joined the chat. Who have we got here? Candy the wee service dog. Hello, Candy the wee service dog. I hope you're doing well tonight. It is good to see you on this July 4th weekend. So okay. Now, we're going to go over here to, okay, power director, I don't care about that. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up the latest from my daughter here on the baby. And she's growing. She's doing really good. She's close to 34 or about 34 weeks now. So yay! She's still a tiny little thing. She's about 4 pounds. So she's getting to wear some of her own clothes. She's still on oxygen, and she's still got the feeding tube in, which is, it's going to be there for a while because she has to learn how to take breast milk. So that is one of the challenges. She's got to learn how to breathe without oxygen, so they're going to be weaning her off of that. She still has some low low pulse rate issues, but they're getting better. They're not as bad as they were, so she doesn't have as much problems there. You know, is she out of the woods? No, because she's a preemie and she's still got the struggle going on. So keep her in your prayers, but she is doing better, and that's what we're real glad about. And we're starting to get pictures of her in some of her real, I don't want to say real, yeah I do, real outfits. And they're such cute pictures. So, you know, it's just a real good thing when the baby's skin matures enough that the baby can wear clothes. And that's one of the big things that you look at with preemies is, you know, is this, how's the skin developing, how's the eyes developing, and then once they get, you know, to certain stages, you know, like when they start opening their eyes. Because I think about us being like puppies in utero in the sense that we don't already have our eyes open, and hers were still forming, so she, you know, is to the point now, a couple of weeks ago, she started opening on schedule, which is another good thing. So, yeah, we keep praying, keep having our fingers crossed. We are hoping that she will come home around her due date. So she's still on track for that. So, and I have to admit, a little bit of me was really kind of hoping that maybe she'd come home a little early, but she's still tracking for a due date. And really, the reason I thought she might come home early is because her mom was a 36-weeker. We came home at 37 weeks. She actually was more ready to come home than I was because I got pretty sick after the delivery and they had to do some work with me. So they actually came in one day, the pediatrician did, and he's like, "Hey, are you ready?" And he just stops mid-sentence. He says, "I have to go undischarge your baby," because at the time, that instant that he walked in, they were trying to get an IV started again in the second arm. So he knew I wasn't going home. But by the time we did, she was about 37 weeks, 37 in a few days. So, yeah, so I was kind of hoping that little grandbaby would get to, but no, looks like she's going to track on her due date, which is fine. You know, I was hoping, but I'm not super disappointed or anything because I just want a healthy grandbaby, you know. But Nonna is getting antsy to hold grandbaby and to see grandbaby. So there we go. What can I say? Let's see. To the chat. Candy says she got her TENS device to help with back, muscle, and nerve pain. So how's it going, Candy? Is that helping yet? Or is it one of those things where it takes time? Yeah, Women's Station, thank you for praying for the baby. She's doing really well. You know, still a lot of things can go wrong, but we're just praying against it. Just because she's still got a lot of odds stacked against her. But better. Thank you, Candy. Candy says continually praying for my whole family, and that she is glad that the grandbaby is doing better. And me too. I'm so excited. All right. And the other thing about the grandbaby is the coming travel that I'm going to be doing to go see our little bambina. Um, and that is coming up. I was going to leave on Thursday or Friday of this week, but I'm going to wait because it's a medical test, and I'm going to leave the following week, which will be around the 13th, 14th, somewhere in there. Don't have a definitive date yet. And I actually may be transporting another service dog. So we've got some details there to work out. And you all know how things happen at the last second before you go on vacation, a road trip, or do any kind of travel. Something goes at the last second. So we are, working on those little things. And so, yeah, probably 13th, 14th, or 15th, which means that on the, what day is it? Well, today's the 2nd. So 2 plus 7 on the 9th. Next Saturday, I'll definitely be doing the live stream at 7, no problems or anything like that, other than the usual challenges. And on the 16th, I'll be on the road somewhere, but I should be in an area that's got cell phone service. So that's what we're looking at. Travel, I'll be going to New Mexico with Pipsy, with the service dog, and I'm so excited about that because, my husband was feeling a little antsy about everything, but since it's working out with the service dog, his anxiety is lower, and when his anxiety is lower, my anxiety is lower. Trust me. So, good news there. So I've got my little New Mexico True Adventure Guide. And I love these things. These, if you guys can, if you go somewhere, contact the travel folks for that state before you go and get them to send you out a booklet. And it just, a lot of them have it online, and I'm glad they got it online. And there is a lot to be said for the downloaded version, but there's also a lot to be said for paper. Maybe it's just because I'm a Gen Xer, but I like my paper, and I can go through and hit it with all my little Post-it notes and things like that. Peter, good night to you. Keep us posted, okay, on how things go. We'll be hoping that CT comes out just fine, okay? We will cross our fingers and we will say prayers that everything comes out okay. Let's see. Going back to the chat. Candy says she has to watch a couple of videos before she uses the TENS unit. That makes sense. And she said, what supplies will your daughter need for the baby at home? Right now, the big thing is crib sheets and covers for the changing table. I don't think she has any of those. She's got a bassinet, and she doesn't have any sheets for that, but I don't know necessarily that she's going to be using that a lot. What I hear her say is crib. And my husband and I bought the crib for her, and it is a full-size crib. So if you know anybody that's got any, crib sheets that are in good condition, send them over my way, and I will be glad to take them off their hands if we can work out a price. So, yeah. But that would be the big thing, is crib sheets. Could I send you a list? Yes, I can send you a list. I can post that in the group. Would that be better? Or do you want me to message you with it? And a couple of people have sent things into her, which is like the sweetest thing. Alyssa, who sent me the bottle for Pipsy, she's sending something. So yeah, really cool. And then some people from his church, 2 people have brought gifts for her. And it is killing me not to open them. Just saying. But I'm trying not to. So, okay, I can send you a list by messenger and post it in the group. Okay. We'll do that. Thank you, too, for offering. So, yeah. Things don't need to be new. These, we just want them in good shape. I heard Pipsy being told to leave something. I was like, I forgot for a second my husband was here. Oh, he pulled a real cute one earlier today, this morning. It was like, my heart just kind of melted and sang. And but it's with the dogs, you can't really let them know that you think what they're doing is cute, because you've got to keep them on the training. So I corrected him, and then I was like, aw. What happened was, my husband took him out this morning so he could take care of his personal needs. And he went over, he got the leash, he got ready to put it on him, and I'm like, okay, Pipsy, go with Dad. And Pipsy, who has not really moved up to this point, raises up, gets up, and comes to me. And I'm like, no, Pipsy, it's okay. This time, go with Dad. So go on, go with Dad. And Pipsy goes ahead and he fully gets up, and he goes over to my side of the bed. I get up, I'm going in the kitchen to take my morning medicines, and he comes into the kitchen and he brings me one of my house shoes, turns around and goes back into the bedroom and goes to get the other one. So it's like, obviously he wanted me to take him out, but my husband was going to, and, so I was like, no, Pipsy, go with Dad, and drop my house shoes. But I felt kind of bad for that, because he was like, he really apparently wanted me to be the one to do that, which is great, and that's one of the things that you want with a service dog. But at the same time, if somebody else wants to volunteer to take them out and pick up the poop, you also want to encourage that behavior as well. So it's like, it was just one of those fun things. And then there's the whole, Candy, I think you missed me talking about him playing in the water bowl. So I've got the video on that on Instagram. I'll post it in the group later too, because he cleaned out his water bowl, just splashing in it. So we had water all over that section of the kitchen floor. I take him into the bathroom, do the hair dryer to dry him off, and he immediately goes back into the kitchen, lays down at his water bowl, and he's like, it's empty. Put some water in my water bowl. So we had to negotiate that just a little bit of water at the time. So I guess he thinks it's a miniature swimming pool or something. That was so cute, and I just don't want it to happen again. The slippers can happen again. Candy says it's adorable. I thought so too, but you can't let the dog know that you think it's adorable, because that can mess up his training. So you have to, no, stop, drop, go with Dad. But then I had him on my feet by the time he came back, so that all worked out. But yeah, it's interesting having a service dog again. It's a blessing, but it does take a little while to learn how to work together. So I'm really glad that they do the 10-day doggy boot camp for your service dog, because that really gets you started. And then I think it being at home, you're just constantly fine tuning and following up on the training. So, but he's so cute and he is so sweet. So things are going okay on that. Thank goodness. How he's going to do when I get to New Mexico is going to be really interesting because my daughter has a farm, so there are goats and cats and chickens and ducks and geese and pigs, and she's got another dog, and I have a Labrador Retriever, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does with the other animals, because obviously they're bred to retrieve mostly birds. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. We'll see. I do have high hopes that it will go okay. A lot of these things he has never been exposed to because he skipped this one stage. He has not been to a social home. So usually I think they go to puppy raisers, then they go to prison, then they go to another prison in his case. So he's been in 2 prisons and a puppy raiser home, but he didn't get to go to his social home, so he hasn't been exposed to, the horses and the goats and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. Candy Louise Service Dog says, is it metal, Gayle? Some dogs see reflections in the water and are trying to figure out. No, it's blue plastic. And we had it in the kitchen, but he just had a field day with the water. The other thing is he likes to get into the landscaping and dig a little hole. So we are redirecting his attention away from that and just watching him really closely when he goes outside. So that's going to be interesting. Somebody suggested that if he digs a lot, it was suggested that I get a sandbox. Has anybody that's listening or that hears this, has anybody had experience with getting a sandbox for their dog to dig in, so you'd have a specific area? And tell me how that went, if you did. I've never heard of that before, ever. That was just a random suggestion that somebody made. So, yeah, let me know. I don't know how that would work. If he would learn that he only digs in that spot, or if he carries that through to the rest of the yard. So, yeah, Tomlin wasn't a digger. The only time he dug was he dug himself out a little spot up next to the wall of the house where we used to live, and that was it for the digging after he got his little spot made. But Pacer, he just starts to dig. He doesn't dig down far, but it's just that, I guess, inherent nature in some dogs. So, yeah, so if you've ever had, something like that where you got a sandbox for your dog, let me know how that went. So, but he's doing good. So he's doing good. The baby's doing good. As I go out from Virginia to New Mexico, we're going to be able to stop a few more places. So I'm going to do probably some little shorts or some little Instagram videos. I've got a couple of videos from Kansas still to do and get those edited and put up. So we are going to get to do some of that. If someone has a place that they think I need to check out, between here and just west of Albuquerque, let me know, and I'll see if I can work that in on the trip, okay? So we can have some things there. I've gotten some great ideas from New Mexico trip, flipping through these things. I would love, up in Santa Fe, I would love to go see the church that has this staircase that they're still trying to figure out how it was built. And true to form, my brain is shut down right now and I cannot think of the name of the church. But anyway, if you go in and Google Santa Fe, New Mexico cathedral, church, whichever term you want to put in, and staircase, that should bring it up. Actually, let me see if I can just do that. I'd love to go there, but that's out of the way. But I would still love to do that. So someday, if I can't hit it on this trip. Okay, it may be the Cathedral Basilica of St. Francis of Assisi. I'm going to have to dig a little bit more into that. And I just typed in Santa Fe Cathedral staircase. But no, forget what I just said. It's Loretto Chapel. I found it now. I'm going to drop that link down in the chat box. But it is so special that nobody can figure out like how it is standing and how it is usable. So that's one place that I'd really like to go. Probably not going to happen this trip, but that's for someday. So, and since the service dog and I are still learning how to work together, one of the things that we have to figure out is a travel schedule, and just so the dog can take care of personal needs when we're on the road. So obviously Tomlin was 13 years old when he passed away, so obviously we had that down pat. I knew how long I could travel. I could plan my stops pretty much. Once in a while he'd surprise me, and it was just a lot easier to plan. With this one, with Pipsy being new, I kind of have to reformat and reconfigure in my mind. Whereas before, I knew that, okay, I could drive from Virginia to Memphis or West Memphis, Arkansas, and spend the night there. But with this one, I'm probably going to have to be stopping more often, I'm guessing. So anyway, it's just going to be interesting. But if you have places on the route that you want me to do videos on, or you think I should try to include in my travels, let me know, and I will try to work that in. Because one of the things too about traveling is I want to go see grandbaby. Grandbaby is the priority, of course, but I also want to get information for you that will enhance your own travels. So if I can work that in, let me know. I don't promise, but I will try. And let's see. Sorry, don't want to sneeze. Let's see. Gayle, I'm sending you a link to help you understand why labs like to dig and some solutions for it. Awesome. I'm going to assume that's at Facebook. So thank you. And also, I had told you that I would send you a link for Thunderdog. Totally forgot to do that until right now. Let me get that. I'm going to actually do 2 links or 2 places on Thunderdog. I'm going to send you the link by Messenger, and I'm going to post it in the chat so in case anybody else wants to know. Thunderdog is the service dog that when the Twin Towers went down for 911, he was able to lead his handler and some others out of the building and down like 20 stories. There is a Facebook message / email / meme that talks about this dog that led like hundreds out of the building and things like that, and that is not true. This is legitimate. I actually talked to the guy myself personally. Thunderdog is an amazing book, amazing read, and I think you all will enjoy it. And they've got a Kindle version, as well as the paperback version, but you may also be able to find some used ones on Amazon. I didn't look for those, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, Stellar Piper says I should go back to the Cowboy Museum if it survived COVID. I could do that. If I go through Oklahoma City at a time where I can get through it. Sometimes the traffic is terrible in Oklahoma City, but I'm going to put that down on my list. We went there several years ago. It's the National Cowboy Western Heritage Museum. It's in Oklahoma City, and they have got a lot of just really neat things as far as it relates to cowboys. More so about cowboys in movies, not so much about cowboys themselves or modern day cowboys or ancient or early Western. But it's a really interesting place. Stellar, I'll see if I can't check that out. They had a lot of interesting things to look at. Some of the paintings that they had on the walls were just great. And they had a giant statue of the end of the trail statue, and it's big. It's really, really super big. And it's like the coolest thing. So anyway, I put it on the list. I just typed it in there. Let's see, who joined the chat? Hey, Valerie, how are you? It is good to see you. I'm surprised you're not out on the lake fishing. I thought that's for sure where you'd be tonight. Yeah. Although it was sprinkling here earlier, that can put a big damper on it. Oh, Valerie says it's too hot right now. Yeah, it is kind of warm. So hopefully it'll cool off some maybe tomorrow. I think that's what's predicted here anyway. Let me look. Back weather forecast. It's there somewhere. Okay, yes, tomorrow it is supposed to be cooler here anyway, but we've also got thunderstorms off and on, which is probably not too surprising. It seems like, and honestly, this may just be me, but it seems like July the 4th is a hotbed for thunderstorms. I don't know why. But Valerie says it's too hot right now. She says we're going to go out tomorrow morning before all the water skiers take over the lake. There you go. That's the thing to do. Now, do you water ski? It can be a lot of fun, but of course you've got that constant water spray. Okay, Candy says it's 86 right now, so that's the Cincinnati temperatures. Yeah, you know, I didn't look to see what it is right now. I was just looking at tomorrow. So, but it's nice. It'll be a little cooler tomorrow, so hopefully we can take advantage of some of the July the 4th stuff. We actually talked about going to a state park, but with it being 4th of July weekend, I just don't know how busy our state parks are going to be. So we may go later before and have a little one-day getaway before I have the medical testing done this week. But the rhododendron are all out in bloom, and Roan Mountain in Tennessee has the world's only naturally occurring rhododendron garden in the world. It's the only one. So I like going over there when I can. Let's see. Which, of course, is only, for a few weeks during the summer. All right. Oh, Valerie says no water skiing for her. She said she'd probably break a leg or something. No! That is against the rules. No broken bones, okay? Totally against the rules. Oh, and she says the marina beside her house was really busy today, and she thinks they're having fireworks tonight. Wow. So, now, do you think you'll get to see the fireworks? Are you positioned that you can see them, or do they tend to hide behind the tree line? We're actually not going to the fireworks show this year, and that's because of having Pipsy. You know, we like fireworks, and a lot of other people do like fireworks, but to dogs it can be Armageddon and they can be scared to death. So with him still being new to us, I don't think we're going to go try to do fireworks. Let's see. And Candy says, we have several more days of heat advisory, air quality alert, and yesterday was also a humidity warning. Huh, I have not heard about a humidity warning. I'm going to have to look that up and find out at what point they have humidity warnings. We ran into an air quality alert when we came back through from getting Pipsy. But I told my husband, I'm like, it's a little late for the alert because I already know it because my lungs started itching. And that's just one of the things that my lungs are sensitive to. Let's see. Valerie says we have a lot of trees, but we could walk down there if we wanted to. Gotcha. So it's nice. You've got some options there. So, yeah, we're just going to stay here with the dog. Our neighbors sometimes way down the street will do something. They're not supposed to, but sometimes they will. So that's close enough for us. So, I just don't feel right with having a new service dog that's still adjusting. Yeah. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, I thought I saw a comment, and I didn't want to miss it. I don't see it. Okay. So somebody's comment was up. I missed it, and I don't see it, so I guess we are okay. Let's see. Candy says, Candy and I watched from my high rise. Candy huddles, which I don't blame her for. Let's see, I did have a thing up here. Okay. Huddles for the noise of the fireworks when she can the source of it. Gotcha. That makes total sense. Total sense. Now, Tomlin used to do great with fireworks until I messed him up with a storm, and at that point he just quit doing so well with fireworks. He equated them to the storm. We probably had years and years of him doing fine, but there was a bad thunderstorm, and I felt like we were in a little bit of a danger zone there. Grabbed him, went into the closet, closed the closet door, and we just kind of both hunkered down. But in my defense, there was a tree that fell and landed about 20 feet, 15 feet from the house. So we needed to be in the closet. But after that, he got nervous about thunderstorms and fireworks. Yeah, Stellar says, you probably got a good view too, Candy. Oh, okay, she says handles, not hurdles. Candy handles the noise from the fireworks when she can the source of it. Handles, not pedals. Okay, sorry. I may have said the wrong thing there, but yeah. Didn't mean to. Yeah. Oh, and the stuff behind me here, I've been working on some jewelry for a women's shelter. Um, I've got some pieces that I may put up later in this fall to clearance out from where I was trying to raise money for the service dog. But I took it out the other day. There's a women's shelter that made the snuffle mat for me. I don't know if you all saw that video, but it's just a real cute mat, and you put pieces of kibble in the mat, and so the idea is that the dog goes through and sniffs it and hunts the kibble. And I thought it would be really nice for the ladies at the transition home to have little necklaces. So ignore the mess behind me, because that's what I've been doing, making a few of those. So it's a great transition. It's just a great, great, great transition shelter. And so if I can do something to encourage the ladies on their path, I really want to. So, and the snuffle mat, I can use that when I'm traveling with the dog, and he can take out some of his anxiety by looking for those tiny pieces of kibble. Yeah. And the other thing, I'm probably going on too much about the service dog, so I'll tell you this one thing and then I'll go back to whatever y'all want to talk about. But guess what one of his favorite treats is? I shouldn't have said that so loud. But guess what one of his favorites is? Ice cubes. He loves it, loves it, loves it. And we have an ice maker that makes ice cubes that are about as big as the end of your thumb, so they're small. So that's what we've been giving him as a treat, and he is having a blast with those. And who would have thought, you know, cheap, easy, and no calories, right? That is nice, Gayle. Thank you. I think they'll like them. I usually do something for them for Christmas, but of course, this past Christmas I had COVID. So I thought that since they worked on the snuffle mat, I'd go ahead and send it. So they do great stuff. The women there are all rescued out of trafficking, or they're coming out of drugs and alcohol or abuse or any kind of life-controlling behavior. So they go there for a while and learn how to reacclimate to life. And I think it's like an 18-month program. But they'd never made a snuffle mat for a dog before, had not heard of it, and so, you know, I thought, why not? They did that special for me, so try to be nice to them. So they're super. So anyway, Women's Station Channel said that's nice of you supporting the women at the shelter. And then Valerie says, our neighbor just came over and invited us to his house to see the fireworks tonight. That is so cool. I am glad. It's nice to have those invitations. That is super cool. Now, if you go, you've got to do a video on it. You have to. And let's see. Oh, Candy Louise service dog, who is Laurel, and Candy is her service dog, says that Candy takes out her anxieties and frustration on her 24 Lovies. It's her plush squeaky videos. Plush squeaky toys. Which is cool. We are actually trying not to give Pacer stuffed toys. So, because when I go into Cracker Barrel, they're at his nose level sometimes. So I don't want him to be attracted to plush toys. So we're trying to stay away from the plush toys. And I kind of hate that because I love playing with the stuffed animals for him. And I actually bought a couple before we got them, and I realized, oh yeah, this isn't a good idea. So I may have to see about sending those to you. It probably will be after I get back, because I don't know that I can remember anything else. But if I forget to get them out to you, then remind me. You know, Women's Station Channel, I will. I'll do that. they've had several people who were rescued out of that. And so, you want to encourage them and let them know that, hey, they can overcome. So, yeah. So I want to do that. They also have people who are victims of abuse and just all kinds of things. Let's see. And Women's Station Channel, I just made you a moderator. I figure after all the years that we've known each other, it was time. So, sorry about that. I actually thought I had you as a moderator under your other name, but I guess not. So, now we've got it fixed. So, if someone comes in that needs to be kicked out, you can do that unless Candy or Stellar Piper beat you to it. Valerie says, when are you going to New Mexico? Probably around like the 13th, 15th, somewhere around in there. I really ideally would like to leave before a weekend, so I won't be traveling over like a Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, just because I think it's better to avoid weekend traffic if at all possible. So that's what I'm going to try for. But I was just saying earlier that sometimes last minute things come up. I'd originally planned to go next week, but I've got some doctor appointments that I have to get done. Let's see. Thank you, Gayle. Candy loves toys that are bigger than her. All right. Women's Station Channel says if you want to share my story there, feel free. Thanks. I may just do that. They would probably benefit. Oh, I will. Don't worry. I actually have some pictures from the road trip to Canada that I have to get posted. So I'll be doing that. And again, if there's something that, y'all want me to cover, if I can work it in on the trip, I will. So, post that over on Facebook or, just leave a comment on the video if you think of something later. No guarantees. I won't promise, but I'll promise to try. Okay. And of course, Stellar's already said the Cowboy Museum, which is really, really cool. The end of the trail statue is just amazing, and the detailing is unreal. And what it is, it's a statue that, well, let me back up. Trail of Tears, forced relocation of the Native Americans from their ancestral homelands to places out west. And they must have thought they had been sent to by the time they got out there, because of going from lush greenery to like deserts. Plus, there were other Indian tribes there. So anyway, we won't get into that. But many, many more Native Americans started out on the trail than actually arrived. So this giant statue is of a Native American, and they're on horseback, and the horse is all bent over and looks like it's just barely standing there. And the Native American that's on his back is also hunched over, and I think he's holding like a pole or a spear. Somebody can look it up and let me know, but it's an incredible statue, and the detailing on this is phenomenal. So I'll see if I can't work that in and get some photos of it. Now, the thing about statues, okay, some of the artwork I cannot post photos of because it's copyrighted. So hopefully that won't be the case. I will ask. But it's just, I thought it was the coolest thing in the museum the last time we were there, personally. Candy says, please take pictures of the road trip. And then she says, are you going to make postcards of some of your pictures? I love all the postcards you made from past trips. I might. We'll see. I no longer use an SLR just because it was driving me crazy with all the lenses and figuring out what I needed at that moment and what I didn't need and the settings and all that stuff. So I'm using a Moto phone, which seems to have a really good camera. So if the quality is there, I may make some postcards. I'm going to try to. So, yeah. And I'm glad you like them. That makes my heart sing. Because I like doing things like that. One of the things that I like about the postcards is writing up that little bit of history on the back of the cards when I can. That just gives a little snippet of what's going on. And some things where I took photos, those things don't exist anymore. Like I took a picture of the Friendship Bell in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and now they have changed it all around, and I'm not even sure that it's on display. It wasn't for a while. I'm going to go check that out. Because the story behind that was fascinating. Oh, yes, it is. They have changed the thing it's in. Okay, and made a park around it. All right. So I'll actually see if I can, now that I have mentioned it, let me see if I can just throw a link in there. But I had postcards of it, and I took it down when it went off display. There we go. If you're ever in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the Friendship Bell was made because of the atomic bomb. There were 3 major sites in the U.S. that worked on the atomic bomb. One of them was Oak Ridge, Tennessee. So they forged the Friendship Bell, I think it was in Japan, and they did this kind of public-private partnership on it. And so they took dogwoods, which are native trees to East Tennessee, which is where Oak Ridge is, and they actually put dogwood branches and things in the bell as they were forming it. And then it came over, brought over to Oak Ridge. It was escorted over, I think, brought it over to Oak Ridge and hung it, but the angst was still there over the war with Japan, that there is this big hullabaloo on whether or not it should even be displayed. And so it was on display, it was off display, it was locked up for a while. It's got a bell that's got a beautiful tone when you ring it. Somebody took the clapper out of the bell, as I understand, at one point. It's just been kind of tumultuous, but they had it up and it was gorgeous. And then they took it down, and now it looks like they've created a park around it, which is nice to see. So it's really cool. And the whole thing was done to try to promote peace between the U.S. and Japan. Oh, I would love to see you visit Serpent Mound near Dayton, Ohio. It was constructed by the Hopi Indians, and it's huge. Okay, let me see how close that is to I-40. Because I don't think it's anywhere near where I'm going to be, but it's something I can work in on another trip. Let's see. Yeah, I just put it in the map, and it looks like it's way more northeast than even Lexington. But let me put that on the list. I have a Google Drive document that I keep adding things to. So I'll put that in. I thought about actually taking some of this and the places where I've been, and I've really considered making this into like a little book or an ebook of like things to do in, you know, Virginia, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and so forth. I don't know if that would be helpful to anyone or not. Just a little travel guide. Okay, I've got that in. I've only got it in if I can spell it right. Okay, now I have it. All right. Oh, sent you the link. It is near Candy. Okay. Well, I do want to get back up your way. See you. Go back to the Air Force Museum, and that would be a great thing. So there we go. All right, I have it on the list. I also have going to see Tanya on the list sometime. I'd really hoped to be able to do that coming back from Kansas, but we wound up having to hurry home. So my husband's job called, and that's the way it goes sometimes, unfortunately. So, but thank you for the link. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, there we are. Got it. So I got the link and I have it on the list. So we will see how that goes. Stellar, I've got the Cowboy Museum that you suggested. So we'll do that too. Now I think on the way back, this is going to be another trip where I go out by myself and then the hubby is going to fly out and he's going to drive back with me. And so we may stop and see something else on the way back too. There's a space museum that he likes. And if anybody tunes in later, the really cool thing about Stafford Air and Space Museum out in Oklahoma is it's a harvest host site, which is wonderful because you can park on their property, spend the night there, and it's a nice, safe location. And they ask you to spend at least $20 there, either on tickets or in the gift shop. And it's really nice to be able to spend the night safely and for free. And then when you wake up the morning, you pull the reflectix off the front windshield, and then there's a fighter jet right in front of the window. So it's cool. Maybe in the late spring or early summer next year. Okay. That would be probably a much better time to try to squeeze that in. I am obligated on the first weekend of May. I have to be in New Mexico because that's grandbaby's first birthday. So I do have to do that, but we'll see what else we can work in. Because that would be exciting. And if not that, then if all goes well, I'll be driving back to Alaska next summer, so I can maybe work some other things in then. But that would be summer. But hey, even if it's summer and it's hot outside, that would give us an opportunity to go to lunch. So there's no losers there. All right. Okay, well, I do try to be aware of your time and kind of keep this down to an hour, but it looks like we've gone just a little over that. It's 8:20, and I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to sign off, but don't forget, we're always about the hashtag Be Bodacious, which means you're not going to let life get in the way of living. Okay? So thank you all for watching and for coming out tonight. And, you know, something I think I'm going to have to do, I think next Saturday we should do a giveaway. What do you all think? Let me know. Send me a Facebook message. And because I've got some coins that are the quarters from the women's series of the U.S. Mint quarters. So I've got some that are made in Pennsylvania and some that are made in Colorado. So don't have a full set because they're still under development and still coming out, but I may have to give away a couple of quarters next week. May have to do it. Oh, Candy says you can get up close to the mound, but you can't actually go on it because it is sacred. Yes. I've run into that in some of the other mounds that I've been to before, and I personally love that. Also, another thing that I ran into was when I was out west at the Custer's Last Stand that's on the Native American property there. They asked that you not take your service dog around among the tombstones. So I had to leave Tomlin in the car for a few minutes, long enough to run into the gift shop, and we drove around. But the reason that they tell you to leave your animal in the car is because the graveyard is sacred, and they actually firmly believe that. So to have a dog relieving himself on someone's grave was a big offense to them. I don't think they're ever going to like yell at you or get into your face, but you know, it is, I started to say, it is sacred, and we tend to forget that, and they just wanted to keep that, you know, a sacred space. And I thought that was really, that really touched me. For me, that helped make it even more meaningful, but not everybody respected that. You know, so yeah. So anyway, you can get it close to the mound, but you can't go on it because it's sacred burial ground. So awesome. All right. Well, I can't talk all this in. Thank you all. Yes, I can understand that. Yeah, I think that was beautiful. I really do. What I don't understand was the people who didn't understand that. But, you know, there's always going to be a few. What can you say? Anyway, thank you all for hanging out. Go out and have a fabulous 4th of July weekend. Be safe. And I will see you all Saturday at 7 p.m. And then 2 weeks from now, we should be there at Saturday at 7 also. I'll leave a message in the Facebook group if that changes because I'm on the road. Okay? Thanks a lot, and I will see you all Saturday. Good night, everyone.